guys, welcome back to my channel A Broad Map. In this channel I share information in relation to nursing and visas. For those who don't know me, my name is Sanju and I'm currently working as a registered nurse in Sydney. So for today's topic I have brought delegation. One of my followers from TikTok requested me to make a video on delegation. So let's simplify delegation today for NCLeX. Let's start with the term delegation itself. Delegation simply means one or some of your task as RN is being completed for you by other members. For example, LPNs and UAPs. RN, LPNs and UAPs. As RN, you can delegate your task to LPN or UAPs. Before you delegate your task, you should know what are the scope of practices for LPNs and UAPs. There are certain tasks you should never ever delegate to LPN and UAPs. Let's see one by one. If the patient is unpredictable and in the state of instability, then you should not delegate it to LPNs. Next one is post-op patient who are in 24 to 48 hours of risk zone. You should not delegate that patient to LPNs. The third one is the new patient or newly diagnosed patient. You are not supposed to delegate it to LPNs. And one more time, another is the patient who are on IV drips. The patient has got IV drips ongoing, no matter whatever it is, either all kind of medications or any fluids or solutions or blood products. They are not supposed to be delegated to LPNs. Then let's talk about one more time another task that you cannot delegate it as a RN to LPN is what you eat. So means whatever you are eating, you should not be delegating it to LPNs. Eat means EAT, evaluation, assessment and teaching. So whatever task is there as RN that you need to evaluate, you should not be giving it to LPNs. Next one is assessment. If you have a patient who is new admission and who is post-op, the initial assessment should only be done by RNs, and the discharge teaching will always be done by the RNs only. Again, in terms of teaching, this is highly tested point of NCLeX. So as RN, you are teaching the patient about whatever the topic is. For example, the patient is diabetic and you have taught about diet to the patient. The initial teaching will always be done by RNs only. What LPN can do is reinforcing the same teaching. For example, you just taught about diet to the patient, and what LPN can do is encourage the patient about the same teaching. So they can reinforce the teaching, means they can clarify if they haven't understood after the initial teaching done by RN, then yes, they can reinforce that teaching to the patient, but the initial teaching will always be done by RNs only. I hope this clarifies the difference between the teaching of the RN and the LPN. And now let's talk about the scope of practices for LPNs. As LPN, they can gather the data. They can collect the medical history, they can collect the family history, they can collect the surgical history. All those data they can gather. What they cannot do is, after collecting those data, they cannot analyze it and evaluate it. For example, they have collected the vital signs, but whether the vital signs are within the normal range or not, they cannot analyze it on the basis of the gathering of the data. All the analysis will only be done by RNs. So they can gather data, LPNs can gather data, but they cannot analyze the data. Next one, the highly tested point is whether the LPNs can listen to the sounds, heart sounds, lung sounds, and bowel sounds. Yes, they can listen to those sounds. They can. What they cannot do is they cannot analyze it. Whether there is presence of lung sounds or heart sounds or the bowel sounds, they can, yes, definitely listen to them. But they cannot analyze based on their findings. Next one is all kinds of care in terms of like not hygiene and all, but LPNs can do ostomy care, they can do the tracheostomy care, they can do the nasal and oral suctioning, they can do dressing, they can do Foley's catheter care, even they can insert the Foley's catheter and the straight catheters, and they can also insert the nasogastric tubings. So these are coming under the LPN scope of practice. Please do remember they can do all of these tasks. Don't get confused. These comes under their scope of practice because within their 2 years of study they have all covered all of this, so you can definitely delegate these tasks to LPNs. And now let's talk about our UAPs, the unlicensed assistant personnels, or our AINs, what they can do and what they cannot do. Remember, whatever task we are talking for the NCLeX may differ from what we are actually doing in our practice. So in terms of NCLeX, I'm talking all of these, so just keep them in a mind for NCLeX purpose. Let's talk about those tasks for UAPs. First one is personal hygiene, so nail care, including nail care, they can be done by our UAPs. Next one is bathing, then repositioning, they can be done by our UAPs. Next one is collection of urine samples. They can also empty the urine bags. They can collect the input and output of the patient. They can also help in ambulation of the stable patient. Remember the changing phrase, the phrase is stable patient. Only the stable patient can be ambulated by our UAPs. If they are not stable and needs to be ambulated, there should be licensed practical nurse or RN next to the patient while the ambulation is being done. Next one is vital signs. Our UAPs can do the vital signs check if the patient is stable. For those who are unstable, it's better to be done by RNs. Next one is monitoring of the blood glucose. They can do the blood glucose from the finger, and they can also document their finding. If they are doing input and output for you, yes, they can document the input and output, and if they have done BGL for you, they can definitely document them. So remember, all those tasks come under UAP's task, and you can definitely delegate it to the our UAPs. And always remember, there might be some changing phrases. Remember those key terms, whether it's stable or unstable, always keep them in mind. If they are the post-op patient, or they are the new admission, they are the new diagnosis, just remember to keep all those key phrases in your mind, whether you are going to delegate certain tasks to our LPNs or not, whether you are going to delegate those tasks to our UAPs or not. So based on that, you are delegating, and I hope you with all these terms and terminologies I have told you, and all those tasks that I have listed in this video, clarifies about the topic itself, delegation. So if you have any other question or confusions, please drop down in the comment section below. I will definitely come up with the answers. And please do like, share and subscribe my channel. And I'm going to say bye for now, and happy learning, guys. Bye bye.